I can see by your tag under your name.
Oh. You want to just kick it off with that?
Hey,
we gonna jump right into it.
Let's just jump right into it. Yeah.
So the reason I have the tag that I'm the Gear 6 leaker is because on XCast yesterday we had Jeff Grubb on, and we were casually talking about the June showcase, what we might expect, and I was going into my conspiracy theories that potentially Gear 6 might show up there, just a tease, just a little hint, nothing huge or big, just a tease towards it. Because I think we probably don't see that game. It'll be a launch game for the next Xbox. That's my personal opinion. So by saying that, Jeff Grubb, and I know the clips going around now, kind of tongue in cheek was like, hey, I've heard, we might see something about Gear 6 this summer, I'm giving y'all a scoop, like ha ha ha. You're like, we're kind of laughing about it, and we moved on. So I tweeted out that, hey, Jeff Grubb got a Gear 6 scoop tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific. That's it, right? I'm going to come back around to that because there's some context in here. But I go on with the rest of my night. I get up this morning, looking, I go on social media. I'm seeing I'm tagged on. I'm seeing someone comment. So I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? So in the tweet that I made, Tom Henderson over at Inside Gaming, I believe, made his little snarky ass tweet with his little emoji on there or meme or whatever it was, basically trying to have a gotcha moment with me because I don't like leaks. And I even said that the last time I was on here when I was at Vegas at DICE. I don't like all this insider shit. I don't. I never will. And I will say that till the day I die. I don't. I think when you truly leak something, when you're giving away pertinent information that could ruin a marketing plan, a PR plan, a development cycle, someone putting months, weeks, years of work into something, I don't agree with that. What we were talking, keyword of what Grubb said, might, not is, might. I want to be clear on that. So when I tweeted, I was just having a little fun with it, right? So I saw what he said. So then I replied to him, and I was just like, trust me, it basically is not that big of a deal. Watch the episode. Because everybody coming for me. They ain't even watched the episode. They don't even know what the hell was said. They coming for me already because of what he said. Because he doesn't like that I called him out on that probably a couple years ago. And he had a little snarky ass comment to me at that time about, well, you talk about leaks on Kind of Funny and Gamertag Radio all the time. And my response to him then was, well, stop leaking shit and I don't have nothing to talk about. Fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
So I know that kind of got him a little bit. Anyways, I said what I said this morning, and then he replied again. Oh, I'm sure you got pre-approval from Xbox on that, right? Hint. So at that point, I go, okay, I see what he's doing. So I DM'd him. Okay. I DM'd him, and hey, Black Viking, I'll get up the DMs quick. I DM'd him, and I was like, look, I know you're trying to have your little gotcha moment right now. It's not even that big of a deal. It's a little tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. And just so you know, Smarty Pants, Xbox did know about it ahead of time, and they said it wasn't a big deal.
Ooh.
Okay.
So and then he moonwalking like he was Michael Jackson at the Motown Awards. Oh, ho ho ho, joke. But that's social media. That's what social media does. People want to have their little moment against you, and they say whatever they say. And then when you bring an actual fact to the table, it's just jokes. I'm just kidding. Because here's the truth. Here's what happened. I tweeted that because I didn't even think it was that big of a deal in the moment. I tweeted it. And guess what happened? Somebody DM'd me from Xbox, and they asked me, someone that I know, and they asked me, hey, what did Jeff say? And I told him exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Oh, he was like, oh, thank God, I don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to see this. That's not nothing. In other words, it's a nothing burger. They didn't care. So at that point, I knew it was fine, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if this person would have said to me, oh, hey, can you clip that out? Can you take that out? Can you not? We talk about that. I immediately would have, I would have told the Kind of Funny crew, hey, we got to edit that part out with Jeff. I would have said that right away, because purposely going to go out and try and leak something. I'm not purposely going to try and give something away. And if anyone watched the episode, you'll see what started the conversation was during GDC when they unveiled 1943, you know, the Captain America Black Panther game, which is on Unreal 5.
Mm-hmm.
Looks dope. I put out a tweet then, just joking around. I was like, if that looks that good, imagine what Gear 6 is going to look like in Unreal 5. That's what I said, right?
Yeah.
So from the coalition subtweeted on it, was like, yep. And everybody had the eye emojis and was going crazy then. So in my mind, you just unofficially confirmed that Gear 6 is a thing, which we all know it's going to happen.
Right.
And I'm not saying, oh, hey, it's okay to start leaking. Like if Jeff would have said, hey, I heard that Gear 6 is going to be at the June showcase. They're going to show gameplay. They're going to have a release date for this fall. It's going to be there. Oh, I got a screenshot I'm going to show you. I'm not down with that kind of stuff. Don't give that away. Leave that surprise out there. You know,
because the gamers want that excitement.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like, and we saw the same thing, like the whole Wolverine thing, like that was crazy. Because I'm sure Insomniac felt devastated with all that stuff being out there. Like that was a lot of information about a lot of games.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of leaks that I'm talking about that I'm not down with. That gave up some stuff that we were not supposed to know anytime soon at all. I mean, yeah, right. So showing entire roadmaps into 2030, things like that. That's the kind of things I'm talking about. Obviously, the personal information that was put out there as well. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. A little tongue in cheek. We might see something this summer. That's not leaking anything. If you think that's a leak, you just don't like me and you just want to be mad at me. That's all that is. Because the irony of all of this is, I ain't even the one that said it. right? You know what I mean? So if you're mad at me for previewing something someone else said on the show, all right, you just want to be mad. And again, I know it's personal with Tom because Tom don't like that. I don't like that he makes his living off of leaking. And for people that love to dumpster dive and pull receipts, because I saw all that in there, the conversation that started this with myself and Tom some years ago was the fact that he was bragging that he doesn't sign NDAs because he'd rather just leak stuff. And that's why I said, hey, that's kind of shitty. That's what I said. And then he took offense to that and said what he said back and then whatever. But so this dude literally been sitting there for like 2-3 years. He's like, man, I can't wait till he have a moment and I'm gonna pull this one out on him. That's all that was. So if people want to be mad at me about that, because people call me a hypocrite and all these other things, I'm a hypocrite then because that ain't a leak to me. That is not a leak. That is a maybe. That is, we're kind of speculating because the whole conversation was about speculating because we continued the conversation speculating about what we could see at the June showcase. I speculated that if Xbox truly does go next gen in 2026, we probably see Gears as a launch title for it because, and I'm sure we're going to get into this with the Hellblade comment. So I'll preview this now. I'm convinced that Unreal 5 cannot be playable at 60 frames per second on these current consoles, PlayStation 5 or the Xbox. That's just my personal opinion. I don't have any evidence to this. No dev has told me this. This is just me kind of reading the room, looking at a game like Immortals of Avian. Obviously, Hellblade 2 is coming out at 30 frames per second. I'm not seeing evidence that these consoles, unless you're putting a performance mode on it and you're degrading the visual fidelity that it would have, can run it at 60 frames. So no, I don't think Xbox wants to put Gear 6 on the Series X or the S. Right. I think they want it to be a showcase title for the next gen. But that's just me speculating. Again, I don't know nothing. Tom, don't tweet it out because I don't know. This is me speculating. I'm not leaking anything.
So would that mean, to your point about them not putting it on Series X and S, I mean, you typically, whenever you have launch titles, I mean, for the past couple of generations, they've been cross-generational games, right? Mm-hmm. So they pull that back and just say, no, you can only get this, or you can play it through the cloud. Maybe cloud technology is a little bit better by then. Is it only available on that next gen console?
Right. Well,
show up. What
I think is, again, this is all what ifs. We don't know. If truly that there's a next gen Xbox in 2026, and if Gear 6 is a thing and it comes out in 2026 as a launch title, it'll be cross gen. It'll still come out on the Series X and the S, but I think the multiplayer they'll have at 60 frames on the Series X and the S, but the campaign will probably be 30 on the X and the S, but it'll be 60 on the other one. That's just my guess.
That
kind of just looking at precedent of how it's worked in the past.
Right. No, that makes complete sense. So with the Gear 6 conversation, because I just recently, I think before I left Norway, I beat the campaign again. What are some things that you guys would like to see within Gear 6 when it comes to, because what I don't want to happen is the Halo Infinite thing to happen again, to where, you know, the multiplayer comes out and it's good, but it gets old super fast because the content's not there, right? Like Forge wasn't there. I think the seasons were like 6 months long at the time.
Oh yeah, we talked about that yesterday too.
Yeah. So what are some things that you would like to see the Coalition do with Gear 6? Because I'm excited for the Coalition to be, because if anybody is the gold standard for Unreal Engine,
it's them. Yeah, it's them.
Yeah.
Do you want me to answer that? Because I don't want to dominate the conversation.
You go first. Okay. I'll swing it to Scale and
I mean, for me, to your point, you kind of use Halo Infinite as the template of launching something and just basically not having enough to do. So you run out of things quickly. I would hope that we see robust maps. Maybe they even bring in some legacy maps from the previous Gears games. I would love to see I think at this point we're talking like Horde mode 3.0 or 4.0 or something like that. Let's put a new twist on Horde mode to put in there. I mean, the Gears formula and the way it works is kind of hard. I don't know what they could do to revolutionize what we've already seen, over almost the past 20 years at this point with that multiplayer. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously we're going to love to see some new kind of weapon types that are in there. Maybe, I know this is so cliche, but maybe there's some kind of battle royale type mode in it, if you know what I mean. Okay. Not what we've seen in things like PUBG or something like that, but just something that is going to, everyone's not spread out over the map. It's going to force everybody to come together. And then obviously you have like a last man standing at there. Some different twists on the current modes that you would have, because, remember, Gears isn't first person. We're looking at a third person over the shoulder type of shooter, for lack of a better term. So I don't know. I mean, the one thing, going back to what you're saying, as far as the Coalition goes, we know they're outside of Epic themselves. They're the gold standard for Unreal Engine as far as visual fidelity and all the bells and whistles that we'll see. Like, it's funny enough, I was playing Gears 5 again, probably about a month ago, just screwing around in the campaign a little bit, and on PC, just playing on PC, but even on the Series X, man, the lighting in that game is just so, like, Gears 5 could come out right now and you'd be like, man, that's one of the best visually impressive games on the market right now, because that's just how good it was.
Hive Busters was
great. Oh, don't get me started on Hive Busters. Actually, I got a mini rant about Hive Busters.
Go ahead.
Why? I loved Hive Busters, by the way. I thought it was phenomenal. I think when you talk from a campaign standpoint, it seems like the Coalition was kind of experimenting on what to do next. Campaign, a single player and a co-op standpoint. I loved it. Why Microsoft did not market this, I don't know. Yeah. Because it's funny that you brought it up. Most people don't even know it exists. Like, they talked about it for a little bit and then poof, it was gone. It was like, why weren't you marketing this more? Why weren't you pushing this more? Especially because it came out like right before or during the pandemic. I want to say 2020, around there somewhere.
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
Look, we was all at home. Ain't nobody doing nothing. Market the hell out of it. You could have had Aaron tweeting about it. I mean, you could have done something more. I just don't think it was talked about enough, or you didn't get enough eyeballs on that DLC, because I think anybody that actually played it loved it, but I don't think enough people played it, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, because even for me, as somebody who likes Gears, I didn't know about it until I just saw it pop up on my Xbox. So,
right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what about you, Scale? Anything that you want to see from Gear 6 specifically?
Specifically, I think I'm good with just more of the same. And just because they're putting it on a new engine, there's no on all my notes for Gears, I just say I love the headshots, I love the giblets, I love the curb stomp, I love everything that Gears has always done. Seeing a carcass that you can kick around, like just it's and seeing that just beefed up will be honestly a good enough thing for them to do for me. But just more weapons, more maps, legacy, like Parris was saying. I want to see the old maps, Gears 1 maps, Gears 2 maps. And that would honestly be enough for me, I think. And a campaign to go with that. Multiplayer for me would turn out to be what the longevity. So I'd like to see, solid battle pass, solid everything up to date with how games are moving. So I think, just give me some more of them headshots where the skull pops out. And we're good to go.
Keep it gory. What about you, Nova?
Man, I can't overstate that enough, man, especially for what Skellington just said. Like the headshots, they have their own specific headshot. Like when you get those sniper headshots in Gears, man, my goodness, it's a totally different feel. So definitely keep the ragdoll physics so I can continue to disrespect my enemies. You know what I mean? so keep all that stuff, man. And definitely I would like to see it launch on the next gen console too, because and I know we'll get to it later, because if Hellblade maybe is stuck at 30, due to maybe hardware constraints, I want to see them go all out on this next Gears of War game on the next console. So yeah, man, just keep the graphics good, keep the gameplay good, keep the wall bouncing crispy. You know what I mean? Yep. I need that, and I'll be a happy camper, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's cool. I agree with what all of y'all have said, especially on the gore, ragdoll physics. Listen, I know Helldivers just came out and they've already been developing this game, but a horde mode that is for multiplayer anyway, that's similar to Helldivers would be insane.
They already have everything for it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's something they can work on later, or if that's something they're already doing, because plans change, with these type of games. And I'm interested to see, because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't played Gears 5, but then at the end you had to make a decision. And I wonder how they tie that. If it's a continuation of the story, I wonder how they tie that in. Do they take your last save? On who you saved and who you didn't, or do you get to choose at the beginning? Like, I don't know how they continue that, because
kind of like Mass Effect,
right? Because both of those endings could play huge roles in the next game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point. That's a good test for them too, to see if they're going to keep the continuity correct. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
One thing that I hope they don't do that they did in Gears 5, I think they need to ditch the quasi open world aspect of it. It didn't land the way I think they thought it would, whereas you're promoting like, oh, this is this big open world, but really you were just wasting time going from point A to point B. As far as the action goes, there wasn't anything to do in between, if that makes sense. Unless, okay, you're really going to expand upon it, and we truly have an open world where there's a lot of random encounters that you're going to have and side missions and things that you're going to be able to do. If not, and I think I even saw Kay Asante say this in the chat, I personally, and I'll take this all the way back to Gears 4 when Rod Ferguson was still there. Do you remember when they first revealed Gears 4? Do you remember that at the E3 showcase they did?
Yeah.
It looked like a horror game.
Yep.
The original Gears of War was a sci-fi horror game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what look, as much as I love 2 and 3 and all that, I'm not taking away from that, but I would love to see them go back to their roots as far as that goes. I would love to see them dive more into the actual horror aspect of what Gears could be versus what it became like over the years.
No, that's an excellent point.
Gears 1 was scary.
Yeah.
And then when they introduced the Krill and you couldn't go into the darkness.
Exactly. Yes.
Humongous, huge antagonists that you're going to have to face later. Yeah.
And they would tear you up too if you stepped out.
But by the way, this is to show you how old I am. So I went to what E3 was this? Had to have been 05. What was it, 05? Because it was before Gears came. Might have been 06. Might have been. But anyways, went to the E3, let's just say it was 06. And I remember they had Gears of War. was it AMD or an NVIDIA? But it was probably NVIDIA. They had it running on PC on the show floor.
Okay.
And I said, graphics are never going to get better than this ever. This is it. They can stop right here. This is the best looking game I've ever seen in my life. That's just how freaking good it looked. And even on the 360 at the time, I mean, it truly looked for its time. Oh, yeah. That was a next gen title, 100% with the visuals that they had on it. And even if you go back and play I guess it's the remastered version of it, or whatever it was that came out around, what was that, around 2016 or so? It still holds up right now. Looks really, really good. So it's an IP that has a lot of potential. And, you know, I get Grubb. If anything, I think Grubb saying what he said, and obviously people talking about it today, just goes to show you how many people want more of that IP and want to see more Gears out there. Because I think, if anything, instead of all the doom and gloom we've been seeing the last few months, people are actually excited to talk about a game